Shalom, shalom, peace, everyone. Peace, and welcome to Bayeeth Ma'azahn Network. I am Chief Prince or Naseekh Rashee Shama, and I am the founder of Bayeeth Ma'azahn, the Chief Prince of Bayeeth Ma'azahn. Bayeeth Ma'azahn, for those that's not familiar, is House of Balance. Okay, House of Balance. It technically means house from balance. So it's indicating that a house cannot be established unless it's balanced. So today I'm going to be bringing forth a lesson, and this portion of Bayeeth Ma'azahn Network is going to be the ministry portion, right? So Bayeeth Ma'azahn Ministry um, is dealing with the lessons portions, dealing with the Tanakh or our literature as we identify with B'nai Israel, or some people might say Israelites. The Bayeeth Ma'azahn Network also embodies our music. Me and my Isha, Princess Amuna. When we're dealing with music, we typically go off um, the English translation of the Hebrew, right? Naseekh is prince, Naseekha is princess. So you all will be seeing my Isha soon on other portions of the network that we're going to be bringing out to you all. But today, we're going to be dealing with the text. And within that text, um, we're going to be trying to get into the mindset of Mosheh. Um, and we're going to be in the book of Devarim or Deuteronomy, which is only going to be, I might just touch on one or two chapters, but we will go a couple places to get the understanding. And Deuteronomy um, is more so just bringing out uh, the understanding of what was taking place in Shemot or Exodus, right? And Numbers and things of that nature. So it's going to be interesting what we go through. For those that may want to do any donations, you can do so at our Cash App, which is Thad Mediahu. I'll keep that up on the screen for you all. You know, when you watch this back, or if after Shabbat, for those that's going to be watching it during Shabbat. Um, so I'm not going to hold you all long. I don't want this to be a long lesson because sometimes I can give that, but it was just put on me. Um, I want to say this was probably about a week or so ago. I wanted to bring this out. Um, so again, we're going to be in Deuteronomy, and I entitled this, You Should Not Be Intimidated by Anyone, for the judgment is the Most High's or Yah's, right? That we're gonna read that actually within the text. But I thought it was interesting. I think a lot of times when we think of um, people like Aharon or any of our forefathers or those we looked up to within the scripture, um, typically the people, right? The people were the ones that kind of caused us as leaders to pull back from the Most High, but it was ultimately us. So what uh, Moshe is trying to do, he's trying to lay a foundation out, a foundation of understanding of what transpired, and also a foundation of how we're supposed to move, right? What we had expected when we came out of Mizraim or Egypt, and what actually transpired. So that's what we want to tackle today. Um, so when we're dealing with Deuteronomy or Devarim, it's really just reviewing what it is that transpired and kind of to reiterate some things so we can remember what it was that we did, right? We can remember what it was that caused the things that transpired with Moshe to happen as well. Um, we're facing those things today. We're facing those things today. So let's get right into it, you all. We're going to go to Devarim or Deuteronomy chapter 1, and we're going to start at verse 1. All right? Deuteronomy chapter 1, and we're going to speak on verse 1 and down, right? And it says, these are the words that Moshe spoke to all Yisrael beyond the Yarden or the Jordan, in the wilderness, in the Araba, opposite of Suf, between Paran and Tophel, Laban, Hazeroth, and Dizahab, right? So these are the words that he has spoke with them. So he's just about to be reiterating these words. It is 11 days journey from Horeb by the way of Mount Seir to Kadesh Barnea, right? So Horeb is two schools of thoughts that um, this is where Mount Sinai was. This is where Moshe had got the tablets, right? And it's another school of thought that just say it's close in proximity. We're going to say this is what Mount Sinai was, right? It says, verse 4 or verse 3. In the 40th year, on the first day of the 11th month, Moshe spoke to the people of Israel according to all that the Most High had given him in commandment to them. After he had defeated Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, who lived in Ashtaroth, and in Edrei, beyond the Jordan or beyond Yarden, in the land of Moab. Moshe undertook to explain this law, saying, the Most High, our Elohim, said to us in Horeb, you have stayed long enough at this mountain, right? It's time for us to go. You have stayed long enough at this mountain. Turn and take your journey and go to the hill country of the Amorites and to all their neighbors in the Araba, in the hill country, and in the lowland, and in the Negev, and by the seacoast, the land of the Canaanites, and Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates. Okay? See, I have set the land before you. Go in and take possession of the land that the Most High swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov, to give to them and to their offspring after them. All right. So this is the portion where I wanted to really get to. Um, he's about to really expound on what it was that he said. What he said to the Most High, how he was feeling with the people. This chapter really explains um, what certain leaders may go through. And it's not just certain leaders, because from my point of view, a leader in totality has a certain spirit, right? A certain spirit when dealing with himself, and a certain spirit when dealing with the people. And we want to see that. Verse 9. At that time I said to you, I am not able to bear you by myself. Why at this moment is he saying to them, I am not able to bear you by myself? See, a lot of us, when we join organizations or when we come a part of congregations or whatever it might be, we're just trying to get information and get an understanding, right? How to come and become closer to the Most High. These people, in context, that's not what they were doing. They wanted to be brought out of Mizraim or Egypt due to what was happening to them, that slavery that was happening to them. Today, we're not facing a lot of that. A lot of times we say we're in captivity, and we are in some form, but we're able to travel and go places whenever we want to. We have no whips and things like that happening to us. So we need to understand it's a certain context. When people are having these things done to them, they will do anything to get away from it. It doesn't mean that they truly want to come under the rulership or the instructions of the Most High. They just want to get out of their scenario, their situation. And that's what was happening here when we got saved, through the Most High, but through Mosheh. When we got saved, we just wanted to get out. Our cries was being heard by the Most High. And we just wanted to get out. But did we really want to serve the Most High? Did we really want to obey the things that were put in place? Did we want to follow a leader, this particular leader that the scripture says is the meekest on the land or on the earth? Did we really want to do that? Did we understand what that meant to come under that leadership? And did we recognize how this leader was? I wouldn't teach or tell anyone to get just on the leadership in general, because it's certain leaders that's not capable of leading the people properly. Mosheh was that leader. And there's many other examples that we're going to dive into as we continue, as you all tune in and future teachings and things of that nature. These examples is very important that we're going to see. But he said, at the time I said to you, I am not able to bear you by myself. Right there, being able to communicate with the people, right? And also communicating with the Most High, but being able to be vulnerable in a sense with the people. That's what Moshe did. Right here, I am not able to bear you by myself. The Most High, your Elohim, has multiplied you. And behold, verse 10 of Deuteronomy chapter 1. Behold, you are today as numerous as the stars of heaven. But we have some leaders that want to just take the mantle themselves. And they show it through action, right? They show it through how they present themselves. They don't want anyone to be there with them. But that is not where the Most High uh, um, wants the leaders to be. He wants the leader to be a certain way and at a certain place, right? And he understands how the people could be overwhelming. So he said, at that time, I said to you, I am not able to bear you by myself. When you go to Numbers chapter 11, let's read that. We're going to go to Numbers chapter 11, and we're going to read 1 through 17. So write this down. Numbers chapter 11. Let's read verse 1. Go down from there. Because he's reminding them of what it is that has taken place. And we're going to find out something too. What's happening? What is Moshe at this particular point? Why is he talking to them right now? And for those that may not know, you're going to see. So let's go back to the point where he's actually speaking of and why he couldn't bear them, right? He couldn't carry that burden alone. Verse 1. And the people complained in the hearing of the Most High about their misfortunes. And when the Most High heard it, his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Most High burned among them and consumed some outlying parts of the camp. Okay, let's keep going. Then the people cried out to Mosheh, and Mosheh prayed to the Most High, and the fire died down. So we have Mosheh right now. At this point, he is praying for the people. He heard their cries, so he listened to their cries. Then the people cried out to Mosheh, so he listened to it, listened to the people, right? And he went right before the Most High. How many of us as leaders are listening to the people? Sitting down, trying to get in the minds of the individuals to know exactly what to bring to the Most High. You got to understand the people by hearing them to know what to bring to the Most High. That's what Mosheh did. But when we go back to verse 1 in Numbers chapter 11, we understand that they complain dealing with their misfortunes. But these people, right, before saved by the Most High through Mosheh, they cried out and they wanted to get out of their circumstances. That's the context. We have a lot of leaders and teachers that may use this out of context. The context was they cried out to the Most High, save us, get us out of this captivity, this slavery, this mistreatment, this mishandling, right? This bodily harm, treating like they're animals. That's how they was being treated. That's the context. So they got saved. They got heard through the Most High by sending Mosheh. That's the context. Now the Most High was angry with that. I saved your life, right? And when the Most High heard, verse 1, heard it, his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Most High burned among them and consumed some outlying parts of the camp. That's the context of that. Verse 2, then the people cried out to Mosheh, and Mosheh prayed to the Most High, and the fire died down, right? Due to this leader, due to this, the meekest man on the earth, right? Or the land, I would say, at this particular point. So he listened to their cry, and he was able to go to the Most High due to understanding what they was going through, their mental, right? So the name of that place was called Taberah, verse 3. Let's keep going. Because the fire of the Most High burned among them. Now, the rabble that was among them had a strong craving, verse 4. And the people of Israel also wept again and said, oh, that we had meat to eat, right? We remember the fish we ate in Mitzrayim or Egypt that cost nothing. The cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic, right? But this isn't taught like that. It's taught so much more that we was in slavery, we was getting beaten, we was getting mishandled, this and that. But they're talking about, look, we didn't have to ask for nothing. A great example will be talking about prison right now. It's people that literally will purposely go back to prison because their meals were being met daily. They didn't have to work for their meals. They didn't have to do any of that. I know some personally, right? You would think that's crazy. Why would you want to go back to jail? You know, people do it. Those that know the story with Ben Ami Ben Israel, and those that was accompanied with him that took the people from um, the United States, I should say, around the 60s, going into the 70s. It was about, I think it was about somewhere between 500, almost 500, between 300 and 500 that left U.S., went to Liberia with them, right? They had to endure in Liberia for a couple of years before they went to Dimona, Israel. And over half of them went back to the United States because they could not deal with living where they were or going through what they were going through because they have never endured that. They was getting, they was complaining about U.S., leaving the U.S., right? They saw the vision, but when they got and went through it, that's when they wanted to go back. It wasn't due to leadership, from what I know. It was due to the struggle. But they chose it. They wanted to do it, right? That's a different scenario, but it's similar. All right. So they said in verse 5, we remember the fish we ate in Egypt that cost nothing, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. It did cost something. You all was in captivity. You all was getting harmed. Your children was getting harmed. Your wives was getting harmed. So it cost you a lot. But see, when you're in the midst of that moment, this struggle that you asked for, you literally asked for it. And the context is because of what was happening to you. Verse 6. But now our strength is dried up, and there is nothing at all but this manna to look at. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and its appearance like that of bdellium. Verse 8. The people went about and gathered it and ground it into hands mill or beat it in mortars and boiled it in pots and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was like the taste of cakes baked with oil. When the dew fell upon the camp at night, the manna fell with it. Mosheh heard the people weeping throughout their clans, through everyone at their door of his tent. Everyone at the door of his tent. And the anger of the Most High blazed hotly, and Mosheh was displeased. Remember in Deuteronomy 1, he said he couldn't bear it. It was too much. Imagine the amount of people that he had to endure, right? Some of us, we don't have nowhere near this amount. And we get to see how strong he truly is. Some people may look at him as not being strong due to saying this, right? Not being able to bear it. But it's true. It's too many personalities. It's a lot of personalities. It's a lot of people with different experiences, different lifestyles before coming into this walk. Can you imagine him dealing with all these different type of people, right? His people, I should say. So Mosheh heard the people, verse 10, Numbers chapter 11. Mosheh heard the people weeping throughout their clans, everyone at the door of his tent, and the anger of the Most High blazed hotly, and Mosheh was displeased. Verse 11. Mosheh said to the Most High, why have you dealt ill with your servant? See, for those of you that don't know, Mosheh didn't ask for this. The Most High came to Mosheh, right? Letting him know that he was going to be the one to help these people. Now, granted, he went to Mount Horeb, right? But the Most High came to him with this information as to what he was going to do for his people, for the Most High's people. And this is why he's saying, Moshe said to the Most High, verse 11, why have you dealt ill with your servant? And why have I not found favor in your sight? That you lay the burden of all this people on me. This is what he said. You lay the burden of this people all on me. I'm serving you. I'm doing what it is you asking me to do. But see, Moshe, in my opinion, with his history, his background, know how people, or knew, should have known how people are. Again, he didn't ask for this though. And we have leaders today that are asking for this. And then since we're asking for it, since we're moving in that direction, why are we complaining when we get people who we believe that may not be on our level? We got to have an understanding that as I teach, it's a remnant of a remnant that's truly trying to serve the Most High and is going to do everything in their power to do it to the best of their understanding or to the best of what they're being taught. So knowing that when you have so many people, it's going to be a lot of people that's not going to walk it properly. And it's up to you to have that certain spirit to walk with them where they're at, to strengthen where they are, and to get to where they need to go. And your approach is everything. And we're going to see that. It says, and Moshe was displeased, verse 10, Numbers chapter 11, verse 10, going to 11 right now. Moshe said to the Most High, why have you dealt ill with your servant? Why was he displeased? He probably had a different outlook of how this was going to be. I did not know this was going to be like this. Why have you dealt ill with your servant? I didn't think this was going to be like this. This is what I would think he's thinking, right? And why have I not found favor in your sight? I'm doing everything you're asking me to do right now. The favor is these people will come fall in line and add to what it is that you have me doing. That you lay the burden of all the people on me. Let's keep going. Verse 12. Did I conceive all this people? I didn't birth these people. I didn't do none of that. Did I give them birth? He says, that you should say to me, carry them in your bosom, as a nurse carries a nursing child to the land that you swore to give their fathers. Verse 13. Where am I to get meat to give to all this people? For they weep before me and say, give us meat that we may eat. Now remember, these people called and was crying to the Most High, and he heard his people. So we cannot remove that context. Verse 14, I am not able to carry all this people alone. The burden is too heavy for me. This is him opening up to the Most High, right? If you would treat me like this, kill me at once. If I find favor in your sight, that I may not see my wretchedness. So the strength that he had to gather and the strength that he's going to gather is due to who he has or who he's about to have around him. We cannot continue to try to do this alone. We have to understand our place and understand the place of those that the Most High is sending to help us. Let's keep going. Verse 16. Then the Most High said to Mosheh, gather for me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers of them, and bring them to the tent of meeting, and let them take their stand there with you. So the Most High is telling him to gather 70 men, right? You have to pick them out. You have to know how they are and who they are. They have to have shown you some consistency, a spirit that can align with your spirit. All of this matters. Verse 17, and I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take some of the spirit that is on you and put it on them, and they shall bear that burden of the people with you, so that you may not bear it yourself alone. What is that spirit that he has, though? What is that spirit? That spirit is not a controlling spirit. How do I know that? Because he didn't want to do it in the first place. He needed someone with him. Do you all remember who he met on the way to Mitzrayim? It wasn't him alone. That spirit has to understand that he has to understand the people. He heard the people's cry, right? Before he went to the Most High. So he had to understand the mindset of the people. That spirit, which we may go to, I'm not sure if I'm going to take us there, always is humble or presses to be that way consistently. You're going to have moments, as we're going to see, but we need to learn from what we're going to see too, so that we can always remain in a certain spirit. All right. Um. So let's go back to Devarim. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 1. So that we were in verse 9 there. Okay. Um. Let's go right to verse 10. Let's read 9 again. Deuteronomy 1 and 9. At that time I said to you, I am not able to bear you by myself. So he's saying, I said it to you. So he had to have said it to the people first. Or maybe he said it after. But he said it to them nonetheless. So he spoke to them. His communication was there. Verse 10, the Most High, your Elohim, has multiplied you, and behold, you are today as numerous as the stars of heaven. May the Most High, the Elohim of your fathers, make you 1,000 times as many as you are, and bless you as he has promised you. So he's telling them something at this point. At this moment, this is when they're transitioning. They're about to transition and go to that land, right? But Mosheh, this is the spirit. Let me show you the spirit. Mosheh cannot go there. Moses cannot go there. But he is still showing the people what they need to know and what they need to do. He's saying, may the Most High, the Elohim of your fathers, make you 1,000 times as many as you are, and bless you as he has promised you. Bless you as he has promised you. Why? Because he is not going to see that promise. And it's due to something. But we want to keep going. Let's keep going. How can I bear myself the weight and burden of you and your strife? The strife that you're having amongst each other. Right? So we already read that he had to get elders, and the Most High is going to put that spirit, forcing your spirit on them. Right? Choose for your tribe. So this is going into detail. It's just reiterating what was already said in Numbers. Choose for your tribes wise, understanding, and experienced men. So when we had read in Numbers, when he was told to choose men, he's coming and he's telling them what he had did, what he had said with them. He's telling them, choose from your tribes wise and understanding and experienced men. So this is solidifying what I had said as far as they had to be a certain type of people. They had to be somebody that you have seen consistently moving in a certain spirit, certain nature, right? They have to be understanding, wise and understanding. Understanding why? Because you have to be understanding when dealing with the people. You have to be wise when dealing with the people. And experience. Experience in what? With dealing with people. How can we prove that in the scripture? He said these people are too much for me to bear. They're a burden for me by myself. So the Most High is sending people to help him to deal with the people. So this is not talking about other things like building things and all of this stuff, right? That's important as well. That's needed. But this was too much for him. What was going on in their lives? The strife, he said. The context says in verse 12, how can I bear myself the weight and burden of you and your strife? So we need other people that can handle so many. So this is something to think about when you're building organizations. You want to have people that you can trust that are what? Wise when dealing with people, understanding with dealing with people, and experienced with dealing with people. And I will appoint them as your heads. So these individuals that he had to get under the instruction of the Most High, and now bringing this instruction on the elders or the leaders within these tribes, they're going to be appointed as the heads over the people. And this is how we should do as well. We should not just pick people and just ordain people as chief men and officers and princes or chief princes or just because we like them. Right? These titles have to be earned. And it has to be dealing with your mental and your spiritual, not just finances. I say this in most of my teachings, a lot of my teachings, because anyone could get money when they're able to. Anyone could get it, truly, when they're able to. But not many are great with dealing with people. Not many are spiritually connected to the Most High or even spiritually connected to the people. Those skill sets are a little bit different. When you think of prophets and the leaders that kept our people intact, they had to have a certain mindset. All of this had to be balanced, right? Let me go somewhere. When we think of, I'm going to come back to Deuteronomy in a second. So, Bayeeth Ma'azahn is dealing with balance, right? And our scripture that's kind of attached to us is Proverbs 11:1. And it says, a false balance is an abomination to the Most High, but a just weight is his delight. This scripture, right? This should be attached in everything that we are doing in our life. This scripture here, a false balance is an abomination to the Most High. So that balance needs to be the focal point, the focus when dealing with our lives. When you look at the world, you think of the world, most people are talking about getting money. Most people are talking about themselves and all of that. But they're missing all the other pieces, right? The one part being the home, man and woman, and the other part, the other two parts, the first part should be serving the Most High properly, man and woman being that second part, and the third is how to treat one another. So a false balance is an abomination to the Most High. We need to focus on that balance. We need to focus on that balance. Okay? So, verse 13, Deuteronomy chapter 1. Choose for your tribes wise, understanding, and experienced men. Why? To be able to deal with the people, because we have to correct their strife amongst one another, how we're treating one another. You're going to be dealing with different men and or women that have different thought processes and mindsets. So you cannot just, it's not one fit all. We cannot do that as leaders or teachers. I'm a certified personal trainer for probably another year till I have to update it. And those that understand that concept, or watch this, those that deal with nutrition, we know that everyone can not or should not, it's not one fit all, right? So a workout can't just be for everybody. You got people that are skinny, you got people that are fat, you got people that are medium, right? So somebody's trying to gain weight, you can't do the same thing with somebody that's heavy set. So that means you have to have a balance and you have to be skilled. You have to be skilled when it comes to wisdom with people. You have to be skilled, when it comes to these things. So let's keep going. Skilled with understanding. Verse 14 or 15. No, let's do 14. And you answered me. So he's talking to the people at this point. And you answered me. The thing that you have spoken is good for us to do. Right? The thing that you have spoken is good for us to do. So this leader, this spirit, this spiritual leader that is within Mosheh, he's talking with the people. He's establishing things with the people. He's getting their thought process on things and matters that's going to be going forward with the people. That's what's happening here. And you answer, verse 14, me, the thing that you have spoken is good for us to do. So I took the heads of your tribes, verse 15, wise and experienced men, and set them as heads over you, commanders of thousands, commanders of hundreds, commanders of fifties, commanders of tens, and officers throughout your tribes, in order to be over those amount of people consistently. You got to have a certain spirit. Now, granted, I wouldn't say that if you are a leader and you don't have thousands of people that you are over, that it doesn't mean you're not a great leader, because I do believe it's a remnant of a remnant. And a lot of these people that we call leaders of organizations and things of that nature, a lot of these people are just tagging along. So I'm not going to say that you have to have this per se, but in order to have people that's going to be willing to come around you and willing to put themselves under you, you have to have a certain spirit. And that is this understanding spirit, this experience with people's spirit, and this wisdom. Verse 16, and I charge your judges at that time, hear the cases between your brothers and judge righteously between a man and his brother, or the alien who is with them. Right? I won't get into the alien thing or the stranger thing. I won't get into that. It's a lot of doctrines out there pertaining to this, and I will bring it out one day. But our ministry is focused more so on home, man and woman, and community. It's dealing with the mental, because a lot of us are mentally unstable due to a lot of things we've been through, a lot of things that we have not overcome, right? So a lot of doctrines we can tackle, and we do, but a lot of the doctrines mean nothing because we're failing as a community and failing as man and woman completely. So the community and the nation is not thriving because of those things. The first thing is not focused on. That's serving the Most High and serving one another. But what we're doing is we're battling with doctrines and things of that nature. So we say, well, that's not our focus, right? But let's keep on going. Verse 17, let's read it again. Or 16. And I charge your judges at that time, hear the cases between your brothers and judge righteously between a man and his brother, or the alien who is with them. So we know this is dealing with strife. And we know not everyone is sound when it comes to advice. People can steer you wrong and tell you what to do that's going to mess your life up. And then now you're going to suffer for it because of the advice that they gave you. This is why he said, get people that have wise understanding and experience with dealing with all of these matters. And they cannot be there. A false balance is an abomination. So they have to be balanced when it comes to dealing with people. This is the number one job as leaders. The number one job, being balanced with dealing with people, with their mental, with their spirit, with their physical. That's number one. And this is what Mosheh and the Most High was trying to bring to through with the people. But let's keep going. 17, you should not be partial in judgment. You should hear the small and the great alike. Why? Because if you're partial, then guess what? If you're partial, then you are It's you're not balanced. If you're partial, you're not balanced. The small matters and the great matters have to be at the same level of treatment when it comes to you judging them. They're going to be different, um, like repercussions pertaining to them, of course, but the way that you facilitate it should be the same. Let's keep going. You should not be intimidated by anyone, for the judgment is the Most High's. So this is telling you, as a leader, right? This is what he's telling them as a leader. No matter if this leader, if you're dealing with someone that's below you or someone that's over you, do not be intimidated by anyone as long as you're righteous. If you're in righteousness and you're moving in righteousness, don't be intimidated with your judgment, with what you see to be wrong and right, with what you're putting out there. Your approach should be good. How you deliver it should be righteous, but don't be intimidated. For the judgment is the Most High. So the outcome of whatever happens is due to what the Most High allowed. And the case that is too hard for you, you should bring to me, and I will hear it. So he's telling you what he told them, and he's telling them what he told them. And this is going to bring that burden off of him. And bring the burden off of the people. Let's keep going. Verse 9, um, verse 18. And I commanded you at that time all the things that you should do. So now once this was done, this is when he started giving them the commandments and things of that nature, right? Then we set out from Horeb. We left, right? We left Horeb and went through all that great and terrifying wilderness that you saw on the way to the hill country of the Amorites, as the Most High, our Elohim, commanded us. And we came to Kadesh, Barnea, and I said to you, you have come to the hill country of the Amorites, which the Most High, our Elohim, is giving us. See, the Most High, your Elohim, has set the land before you. Go up, take possession, as the Most High, um, as the Most High, the Elohim of your fathers, has told you. Do not fear or be dismayed. So this is interesting. He's just painting a picture, reiterating all these things because it's something that's about to happen to him, you all. As I stated in the beginning, he's not able to see the promised land. This is a great leader, understanding that even though he's not going to be able to see it, I still got to lay the blueprint. I still have to be a part of the mission, and I still have to operate in the proper spirit, so they can have the courage, so they can have the belief, so they will know how to move. So they will know how to move with one another. Because how I treat them is going to be how they treat themselves. Well, one another, I should say. Or how they would treat me. When things was happening and they was wanting to, let's go to it. Let's see. Let me see. It's all in numbers. Let's see. Let's go to number numbers 13. Let's go to Numbers chapter 13. I'm going to start at 25. Now, mind you, remember, in Deuteronomy chapter 1, where we're at is in verse 20. He was telling them what they needed to do. Let's go. Let me read Deuteronomy 1:20 for you all. And I said to you, you have come to the hill country of the Amorites, which the Most High our Elohim has given us. See, the Most High your Elohim has set the land before you. Go up and take possession as the Most High, the Elohim of your fathers, has told you. Do not fear or be dismayed. Then all of you came near me and said, let us send men before us, that they may explore the land for us and bring us word again of the way by which we must go up and the cities into which we shall come. Let's keep reading. Verse 23. The things seemed good to me, and I took 12 men from you, one man from each tribe. So he took heed to what it is they suggested. I believe not knowing that they were actually scared. You know, sometimes as leaders, we may not see certain things, or things may seem good, but then aftermath shows different. This is why every decision needs to be ironed out completely before you decide to do it, because you could end up putting yourself in a situation that harms you more than helps. So he didn't, I don't believe that he saw why they were really um, saying what they said according to the literature. But let's go back to Numbers. And we're going to jump back to Deuteronomy in 1 second. Numbers 13. And let's go down to 25. Let's read it. At the end of 40 days, they returned from spying out the land. So, they were supposed to go and spy out the land. That was a suggestion. And that's what they did, right? And they came to Mosheh and Aharon and to all the congregation of the people of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all the congregation and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told them, we came to the land to which you sent us. It flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. However, the people who dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. And besides, we saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the Negev, and the Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the hill country, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and along the Yarden or the Jordan. But Caleb quieted the people before Mosheh and said, let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it. So you have Caleb, right? And we have Yehoshua too, but we have Caleb and we have Yehoshua. The spirit the spirit is similar within Caleb or Caleb, Yehoshua, and Mosheh. In order to thrive, this spirit has to be similar. It has to connect. And some of you who's watching this may agree with me when I'm saying that. Although I want you to, you have to understand what I mean. All three of them had a spirit of balance, of understanding the people, wisdom when it comes to the people, right? A certain balance of judgment when it comes to the people. That's the spirit that needs to be the same for you to thrive. And that's what we're seeing when it comes to how the Most High is dealing with Mosheh, Caleb, Yehoshua, for those that's familiar with this story, all right, with this history. 31. Then the men who had gone up with him said, we are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we are. So they brought to the people of Israel a bad report of the land that they had spied out, saying, the land through which we have gone to spy it out is a land that devours its inhabitants. And all the people that we saw in it are of great height. Here's the problem with this, you all. So the people gave Mosheh a suggestion. Mosheh thought the suggestion was actually good, so he took heed to what they had brought forth. But where were their spirit before they even came? How was their spirit before they even came to this place? How were they as far as their thought process of wanting to go back to Misraim? So the people that was chosen to go still had the spirit of the people that suggested for them to go. And that spirit wasn't balanced. It wasn't strong. It wasn't doing what thus says the Most High completely. It was different from Caleb. It was different from Yehoshua, and it was different from Mosheh. So they went back and they got buddy with their buddies who didn't have that same spirit as Mosheh, Caleb, and Yehoshua. 33 of Numbers chapter 13. And there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who come from the Nephilim, and we seemed to ourselves like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them. All right, let's go back to the Deuteronomy, because it's the reason we're doing this. This spirit that Mosheh has is he's still preparing, even though he can't go forward, he's still preparing. We saw this you will see this in the story dealing with Eli, right? And Shemuel. Similar. Not the same. Same concept though. All right. Um, let's go down to 25. Deuteronomy 1 and 25. It says, and they took in their hands some of the fruit of the land and brought it down to us, and brought us word again and said, it is good land that the Most High, our Elohim, has given us. So these are the spies that was sent. So he's reiterating this to the people, as he's not going to be able to go forward, but he wants them to know. Let's keep going. Yet you will not go up, but rebelled against the command of the Most High, your Elohim. And you murmured in your tents and said, because the Most High hated us, he has brought us out of the land of Misraim to give us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us. Where are we going up? Our brothers have made our hearts melt, saying the people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and fortified up to the heaven. And besides, we have seen the sons of Anakim there. Right? So it says our brothers have made our hearts melt. Right? We're not strong anymore. Although this stuff sounds good, it looks good. This land is amazing. But the brothers that we suggested, they came back and gave us a report that caused us to not be strong, which shows something. This shows something. No matter how strong we think we are, we need multiple people in our midst to help us, to strengthen us. And those people in our midst can either strengthen us or they can make us melt. But it all starts from leadership as well. Let's keep going. So the people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and fortified up to the heaven. And besides, we have seen the sons of the Anakim there. Then I said to you, Mosheh says, then I said to you, right? So he's reiterating, he wants to show them what they went through and where they're at right now, and learn from this so you won't go through it going forward. Then I said to you, do not be in dread or afraid of them. The Most High, your Elohim, who goes before you, will himself fight for you, just as he did for you in Mizraim before your eyes. So he's just reiterating himself. Do not be intimidated. Do not be afraid. Know who you are. And in the wilderness, where you have seen how the Most High your Elohim carried you as a man carries his son, all the way that you went until you came to this place. That's verse 31. Verse 32, yet in spite of his word, you did not believe the Most High your Elohim, who went before you in the way to seek you out of a place to pitch your tents, in fire by night and in the cloud by day, to show you by what you should go. Verse 33 is very interesting. Who went before you in the way to seek you out, a place to pitch your tents. So he went before you, right? He went before you. When we left Mizraim, he went before you, a place for us to put our tents. But how did he go before? So normally when you have somebody that's going before you, it's so they can see something that you're not able to see. You may not be able to see it. Think of a blind person that has somebody that's walking and they're holding that. The purpose of that person that's holding them and leading them is because they can't see something, right? This is another topic that I'm kind of bringing out, but I think it's interesting. He says, seek you out a place to pitch your tent. So he went before you to seek you out a place to pitch your tents in fire by night. This fire was so that you can see. And in the cloud by day. So this fire was so that you can see ahead of you in what direction you're going. Because that's pitch black out there, right? But that's another topic. So we see that he's just reiterating with them, do not be intimidated by, when he was talking to the leaders that was going to be over the people, don't be intimidated by those under you or above you. The Most High is going to have it at the end of the day. You stay righteous and you bring out what you judge properly. Then he's telling the people right here, don't be intimidated when you're going before people. If the Most High has something for you and you're supposed to go in this direction, go that route. No matter what's in front of you, don't be intimidated by these people. That's what he's saying right here. But something took place, you all. Something took place. I'm trying to see where I want to take us. We won't go there. Let's keep reading. We're in verse 34 for those that's tuning in. Let's keep reading. And the Most High heard your words and was angered, and he swore, not one of these men of this evil generation shall see the good land that I swore to give to your fathers. Not one of these evil men of this evil generation shall see the good land that I swore to give to your fathers, except Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, he shall see it, and to him and to his children I will give the land on which he has trodden, because he was holy. He has wholly followed the Most High. Wholly, entirely balance, followed the Most High. Because a false balance is the abomination to the Most High. So you may have elements, and that's good. Build upon those elements and build other elements of what you're supposed to do. But it says he wholly, entirely, right? In spirit and in truth, right? Mentally, spiritually. He had an understanding, wisdom when dealing with the Most High and dealing with the people. So he's going to be able to see the good land. And his children, his family, just off the sake of him. Your righteousness can save your family. And what I mean by that is this: everyone according to themselves is going to have to deal with what's going to happen to them, whether they serve the Most High or not. But they can get a picture of light before them for the sake of you. And due to them having that light, being able to go down that path in that direction or seeing that land, hopefully, just hopefully, they'll be in servitude as you are with the Most High. And granted, they weren't really of age anyway, too. That's the context in that, too. But I wanted to bring that part out. 37. Even with the Most High, even with me, the Most High was angry on your account and said, you also shall not go in there. What is he talking about, y'all? You all know the story. Let's go to it. Let's go to Numbers. I want to Numbers chapter 20, verse 12, right? This is talking about Mosheh and Aharon. And the Most High said to Mosheh and Aharon, because you did not believe in me to uphold me as holy in the eyes of the people of Yisrael, therefore you should not bring this assembly into the land that I have given them. So right now he's speaking to the people. Remember that spirit I was talking about? He could have just gave up, but he still had a strong belief for the Most High. Most High says, because you did not believe in me. He's talking about in what I said to you in this subject. I told you to speak to that rock and water will come out, but you hit the rock. So you didn't believe in me in this moment, which tells you something. We should believe in the Most High all the time, consistently. We should believe. It does not mean we're not going to get discouraged. It does not mean that we are not going to be able to ask questions to the Most High or challenge the Most High in regards to having him or using his words of what he said, what Mosheh had did, right? When he was going to make a nation out of him. His humility, his spirit was for the people. He could have been, all right, cool. I'm gonna make it just cause it's me. Let's go. Many of us would do this because we have this arrogance. He wasn't that. That's why he was called the meekest. A lot of people would have took that mantle like, okay, let's do it. These people are wicked. We don't have a true heart for the people. We say we do, but we do not. And if we do, we will have this wisdom and understanding and experience with the people. And in order to have this wisdom and this understanding and this experience with the people, we have to talk to the people. We have to buy fellowship with the people. We have to connect with the people. And right here, Moshe is connecting in Deuteronomy 1 with the people, even though he cannot go to the land. How many of us will still be doing this walk or serving the Most High as we claim we are if we knew we would not be seeing the Most High? We would not be going to the land. We would not get these things that we're desiring and wanting. How many of us will still do this path like Mosheh? How many of us will have that spirit like Mosheh and others that were like him? Just think on that for a minute. He's telling them everything that's transpired, how they got to this point, knowing that he's not even going. That's the spirit. He says, because you did not believe in me to uphold me as holy or set apart, meaning all the credit goes to me. By you hitting that, you took the credit. You took the people's mind away from me because they still look at you as mortal man. Anyway, they wanted to kill you. They wanted to replace you. Therefore, you should not bring this assembly into the land that I have given them. Numbers 27. When you have seen it, you also shall be gathered to your people as your brother Aaron was, because you rebelled against my word in the wilderness of Zin. When the congregation quarreled, falling to uphold me as holy at the waters before their eyes. These are the waters of Meribah of Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. So you cannot let the people, those that are leaders, those that are striving to be leaders, you cannot let the people cause you to pull back from what you're supposed to do. This is a sidebar. This is what this is what Mosheh is trying to bring out in Deuteronomy chapter 1. Do not be intimidated. This quarreling, this strife, what's going on can cause you to lose hope, cause you to pull back. But it was somewhere I wanted to go. I'm going to go back to Deuteronomy in one second. I want to go somewhere. Let's go to Numbers chapter 20. Let's go to Numbers chapter 20. And verse 1 is what I really want to pinpoint. So in Deuteronomy 1, he's talking about what took place in Numbers 20. What caused him not to be able to see the promised land. And what's causing him to talk to the people right now and prepare them for him not even going, but prepare them for them going, to let them know how they got here, all of these things, but also preparing them that he's not going to be the one to take them. But it's something that stuck out in verse 1. And the people of Israel, the whole congregation, came into the wilderness of Zin in the first month, and the people stayed in Kadesh. And Miriam died there and was buried there, right? And then when you jump down to the rest of the verses, let's read it. Verse 2. Now there was no water for the congregation, and they assembled themselves together against Mosheh and against Aharon. And the people quarreled with Mosheh and said, would that we had perished when our brothers perished before the Most High. Why have you brought the assembly of the Most High into this wilderness, that we should die here, both we and our cattle? The people forgot that they was crying out to the Most High. That's why. The people forgot that. And now they asking, why have you brought us here? It's because that's not where they would have wanted to go. But they are the ones that wanted it. Let's keep going. And why have you made us come up out of Mitzrayim, Egypt, to bring us to this evil place? It is no place for grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink. Watch this. Let me show you about a spirit. He didn't, at this moment anyway, it says, then Moshe and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the entrance of the tent of meeting and fell on their faces. And the glory of the Most High appeared to them. They fell on their faces. But they was frustrated though. It's a part that I haven't touched on yet. Verse 1, their sister just died. Their sister died. And you all that know Hebrew culture knows that typically if something like that, it's a period, it's a mourning period, right? People are there for you, people are encouraging you, all these different things. We don't see that here. Now, am I saying that it wasn't present? It doesn't point it out. We don't see that here. He was frustrated. Does it make it right what he did? No. But he was frustrated extremely. His sister, their sister, just passed. And the people are quarreling with him and Mosheh. I mean, him and Aaron, fighting, complaining. And this just took place. So let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 1. The rest of the chapter, you all, you can read it on your own, but I'm painting a picture. This is a leader of leaders, and it's some leaders out there today that's like this. I'm not one to ever say that these, our forefathers, these great men and women of the Most High, yeah, the same back then is the same today. They're present. They're present. But he's bringing this out to the people for a reason. Let's keep going. So, um, let's keep going. What verse was I at? There we go. Verse 37. Verse 37. Even with me, the Most High was angry on your account and said, you also shall not go in there. But Yehoshua, the son of Nun, who stands before you, he shall enter. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit it. Yehoshua is going to cause the person that was beside you, the person that was younger than you, the person that stood on your shoulders, right? This is why us as leaders, we got to understand those that's coming after us. We got to prepare them. We have to prepare them. And we have to be skillful in wisdom when dealing with them, skillful in understanding when dealing with them. He says, Yehoshua the son, verse 38 of Nun, who stands before you, he shall enter. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit it. For he shall cause Israel to inherit it. Not you. For he shall cause Israel to inherit it. Now we know Mosheh played a humongous part of Israel. We know this. But the Most High says, Yehoshua, encourage him because he's going to cause Israel to inherit it. Why people don't teach that like that? We need to understand that all of this is connected. It's not just one person. We all have, we're all lambacking off of one another for one cause. No one is greater. We have people in place to carry instruction out and make sure things are properly done. But the Most High is the power, the eternal power. He says through Mosheh says right here that Yehoshua will be the one to cause Israel to inherit it. 39. As for your little ones, who you said will become a prey, and your children, who today have no knowledge of good or evil, they shall go in there, and to them I will give it, and they shall possess it. But as for you, turn and journey into the wilderness in the direction of the Red Sea or the Sea of Reeds. Then you answered me, the people. This is Mosheh talking to the people, verse 41. We have sinned against the Most High. We ourselves will go up and fight, just as the Most High, our Elohim, commanded us. And every one of you fastened on his weapons of war and thought it easy to go up into the hill country. And the Most High said to me, say to them, do not go up or fight, for I am not in your midst, lest you be defeated before your enemies. Most High giving them an instruction. He already told them what was going to take place. And they are further showing that they're not trying to listen to the Most High. In their mind, they think if they do this, the Most High hears. In their mind, they think if we do this, the Most High will save us. In their mind, they think if we do this, we have become righteous or are righteous. Right? Because we have sinned, right? We have transgressed a command, a law that was given. So if we do this now, when he already told us to do it, if we do this now, then we'll get back to properly serving. But you're not. You already was intimidated. You did not listen to what I said. You listened to these individuals that came back and melted your courage. That's who you listened to. You didn't listen to me. That's what the scripture said, right? They said, our brothers have melted, their courage. They're not strong anymore. The report that they brought back to us made us not believe. And the Most High, verse 42, said to me, say to them, do not go up or fight, for I am not in your midst, lest you be defeated before your enemies. So I spoke to you, and you would not listen, but you rebelled against the command of the Most High, and presumptuously went up into the hill country. Now remember, it's context with this. These people need to listen to Mosheh because these people called for Mosheh. They called, cried out to the Most High. They wanted to be saved, and they got a Savior sent to them. So follow this Savior that was sent to help you through me being the Most High. So Moses spoke to them, and you would not listen, is what he's telling them. But you rebelled against the command of the Most High and presumptuously went up into the hill country. Then the Amorites who lived in that hill country came out against you and chased you as bees do and beat you down in Seir as far as Shama. And you returned and wept before the Most High. But the Most High did not listen to your voice or give ear to you. So you remained at Kadesh many days, the days that you remained there. Most High didn't listen. Most High didn't hear you simply because you did not listen. You were intimidated. We were intimidated. You did not carry out these things that you were supposed to do. Aharon was an example. Eli was an example. And right now, Mosheh is an example. We should pay attention to these examples. Nobody is above the Most High. No leader is above the Most High. And no one that follows the leader is above the Most High. Righteousness is above all, above everything that is outside of the Most High. Righteousness is above it. And we got to stick with that. So you all, I'm going to conclude this brief lesson. It wasn't too long. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. It was I might go into Deuteronomy or Devarim chapter 1 in the next one. Because this is important. It's very important. It is some parts in Deuteronomy chapter 2 that I thought was very interesting. I may touch on later. So I want to keep it brief. You all, this is Bayeeth Ma'azahn. And to end it out properly, because I didn't start off properly, I want to make sure I give honor to the Most High, right? ראשית, אני רוצה לתת כבוד ושבח ליהוה אלוהי Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. First, I want to give honor and praise to the Most High Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I didn't lead off with that, so I want to make sure that's known. I want to also give honor to those individuals that I stand on their shoulders, those that came before me. And before them, I want to give honor to my Ab and my aim, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be able to be standing on the shoulders of those that came before me. More specifically, I want to give honor to Chief Prince Zebulun Ben Lewi Hadekia, an historian of historians, the person that ordained me and elevated me through the different titles that I had obtained. Chief Elder Mosheh, Master of the Land. I met him. I was able to meet him through my journey on this path in the latter part of my walk. And I want to give honor to my Isha, who you all will be meeting in other segments of Bayeeth Ma'azahn Network, Princess Amuna, because this ministry is fulfilled and it's continuing to be fulfilled through the works that she's doing and carrying the mantle of Bayeeth Ma'azahn that she's doing. And I'm appreciative for her and the ministry, the music ministry that we have, Bayeeth Ma'azahn Music. So I just wanted to make sure I did that, because I didn't do that in the beginning. I normally do that in the beginning of all of my teachings. I'm getting used to this program that I have now that you all are going to get to see. So I was tackling that. But again, I hope that you all enjoyed this teaching. Please share it. Please like it. Leave comments below if you have any questions, any thoughts. And subscribe to the channel, because there's a lot of things that we're going to be bringing out. All right. And if you want to, you can support the ministry by sending a donation via Cash App if you want to later. Not during Shabbat. Not during Shabbat. Hopefully you all won't do that. But and may the Most High bless and guard you all. And I hope it's something that I said that shifts your minds, your thought process, shift your journey and your connection with the Most High and his people. All right. And with that, I will say, Yebrecha, Kakoach Haniski, Yishmarecha, which means, when the Most High or the eternal power bless and guard you all. Shalom.